1986, the mission was a significant milestone in the history of the Space Shuttle program, as it marked the first time that a German astronaut, Reinhard Führer, had flown in space. The primary objective of the STS-61C mission was to deploy the SATCOM Ku-1 communication satellite, which was designed to provide improved communication capabilities for the United States military. The satellite was successfully deployed on the second day of the mission, and its systems were checked out by ground controllers before being put into service. Oddly enough, during the mission, one of the astronauts captured a strange object in space. Due to the shape of the object, it was given the name of the Black Triangle, and those who investigate the unknown reported that these aircrafts are commonly sighted all around the world. Black triangles have become a popular topic, and these mysterious objects are characterized by their triangular shape and black color, and they have been spotted in the skies around the world as well as in space. One of the most intriguing aspects of the black triangles is their apparent ability to defy the laws of physics. Witnesses have reported seeing these objects hovering motionless in the sky and then suddenly accelerating to incredible speeds and disappearing from sight. Others have reported seeing the objects flying in formation or making sudden unpredictable turns and maneuvers. While the origin and nature of these objects is still unknown, there are a number of theories that have been proposed to explain their existence. Some suggest that they may be advanced military aircraft or drones, while others believe that they may be sent here by advanced civilizations, similar to what we have done in regards to sending probes to other planets in our solar system. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence supporting the advanced civilization theory is the sheer number of sightings of black triangles over the years. Witnesses from around the world have reported seeing these objects, often with strikingly similar descriptions and behavior patterns. This has led some to suggest that the objects may be part of a larger alien presence that is monitoring our planet. Another theory that has been proposed is that the black triangles may be related to secret government projects or experiments. Some researchers have pointed to the fact that the objects often appear in areas with high concentrations of military or government activity, and have suggested that they may be part of a classified program. Despite the many theories and speculations surrounding black triangles, the truth remains elusive. While some witnesses have captured images and video of these objects, their true nature and purpose remain unknown. However, the study of black triangles and other unidentified objects remains an important area of research for scientists and enthusiasts alike. By gathering and analyzing data on these objects, researchers can gain insights into the mysteries of our universe and the potential existence of extraterrestrial life. Regardless of their true nature and origin, black triangles continue to captivate and intrigue people around the world. Their enigmatic presence in our skies and in space serves as a reminder of the vastness and mystery of the universe, and of the ongoing quest to understand and explore the unknown. Skeptics have said that this object isn't anything mysterious and that what we are looking at is just a piece of space debris, further noting that as of right now, there is a significant amount of space debris in orbit around the Earth, and this debris poses a serious threat to both manned and unmanned spacecraft. According to estimates from the European Space Agency, there are currently around 34,000 pieces of debris larger than 10 centimeters in size in orbit around the Earth. This includes everything from defunct satellites and rocket stages to nuts and bolts from past missions. These larger pieces of debris can cause significant damage if they collide with a spacecraft, and they are a major concern for the safety of manned missions. Over the years, many astronauts have reported seeing unidentified objects during their missions in space. While some of these sightings can be easily explained as natural phenomena or man-made objects, others remain unexplained and continue to fuel speculation about the existence of advanced life. One of the most famous cases of a sighting by an astronaut occurred during the Apollo 11 mission, which landed the first humans on the moon in 1969. While on their way to the moon, the crew reported seeing a strange object that appeared to be following them. According to transcripts of their conversations with ground control, the object appeared to be moving in an erratic pattern and was visible for several minutes before disappearing from view. Other astronauts have also reported seeing strange objects in space. During the STS-48 space shuttle mission in 1991, the crew observed a series of objects moving in a coordinated manner in the distance. The objects appeared to be moving too quickly to be satellites or other man-made objects, and their sudden changes in direction and speed defied explanation. Other astronauts have also reported seeing strange objects or phenomena during their missions. Some have described seeing flashes of light or objects moving in the distance, while others have reported feeling a sense of unease or discomfort while in space. While some skeptics have dismissed these sightings as mere illusions or misidentifications of natural phenomena, others believe that they provide strong evidence for the existence of advanced life. Some have suggested that the strange objects seen by astronauts may be advanced spacecraft or probes sent by alien civilizations to observe or interact with humanity. Despite the many theories and speculations surrounding sightings in space, the truth remains elusive. While some sightings can be explained by natural phenomena or man-made objects, others remain unexplained and continue to fuel speculation and debate. Regardless of their true nature and origin, sightings by astronauts serve as a reminder of the vastness and mystery of the universe, and of the ongoing quest to understand and explore the unknown. Whether or not these sightings are evidence of advanced life, they remind us of the importance of remaining open-minded and curious, and of continuing to explore the mysteries of our universe. PSRB 162026b is 12,500,000,000 years old. PSRB 162026b is over 12,400 light-years away from Earth and is in the constellation Scorpius. It was discovered that this exoplanet has been around for a long time. It's one of the oldest exoplanets that scientists currently know of. It formed about 1 to 2 billion years after the Big Bang. Scientists have not found any traces of oxygen and carbon on the planet, suggesting it is uninhabitable. Because of its old age, it earned the nickname the Genesis planet and Methuselah. Genesis describes the first book of the Bible, which details how Christians believe the world was created. Methuselah is named after the oldest living person in the Bible. This exoplanet is also the first planet to be found that is circumbinary, meaning it orbits 2 stars instead of 1. The stars are a pulsar and a white dwarf. Pulsars are round and compact with a large mass. They look like a group of stars from Earth, but they blink at regular and consistent rhythms, which is why scientists can use them to find large exoplanets. Pulsars are not like regular stars, but instead, they emit 2 intense beams of light in either direction as they spin in a circle like a lighthouse. White dwarfs are the remnants of stars like the Sun. At some point, the star runs out of energy and turns into a white dwarf or stellar corpse. An exoplanet is simply a planet that orbits other stars. Whereas all of the planets in our solar system rotate around the Sun, exoplanets instead orbit other stars. Exoplanets are hard to find because the stars they orbit emit bright lights, so their glare hides the exoplanet. Instead of sight, astronomers use different techniques to find these exoplanets. The Genesis planet was discovered using the pulsar timing method. The pulsar timing method tracks the electromagnetic radiation from the pulsar the planet circulates. As the planet circles the pulsar radiates electromagnetic radiation that can be identified on Earth. Astronomers record the consistent pulses to determine if there are small inconsistencies in the pulsar's cadence. These inconsistencies occur because an orbiting planet pushes the pulsar off its center. This technique helps scientists understand the system's orbit and the mass of the planets involved. Finding a planet as old as this one helps scientists understand more about the history of our universe. OGLE 2005 BLG 390LB is the coldest exoplanet discovered. OGLE 2005 BLG 390LB, or HOF, as some scientists call it, is around 21,500 light-years away from Earth in the same constellation as PSRB 162026b, the constellation of Scorpius. Located in the Milky Way galaxy, OGLE is not habitable, but its discovery may help scientists in their search for planets that are habitable. This is an exoplanet, which means it orbits a star. Ogle star is a small red star near the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Its location isn't what makes this planet's discovery so interesting. Instead, it's its temperature. OGLE is about 220 degrees Celsius below zero, which is about 364 degrees Fahrenheit below zero. It's the coldest planet ever discovered. Its exterior is covered in rock and ice and has been compared to a similarly cold and more massive Pluto, while its atmosphere is relatively thin and comparable to Earth's. OGLE was discovered using a less popular technique called microlensing. Microlensing occurs when one dimmer star that is closer to the Earth passes in front of a brighter star that is further away from the Earth. As soon as the more dim, closer star moves in front of the bright star in our eye line, the bright light of the more distant star wraps around the closer star, and the light gets split into two parts around the dim star. The gravity around the closer star magnifies the brightness of the more distant star, just like a lens of a microscope. The increase in brightness lasts about a month, but we know that the star will look its brightest when the Earth, the dim star, and the brightest star are all in alignment. But how can this help astronomers find an exoplanet? If there is a planet orbiting around the closer dimmer star, then the distant star will look even brighter for a short time as it aligns behind the dim star and its orbiting planet. So, scientists will see a short increase in brightness as they look at the data from the more distant star. Astronomers believe there are a lot more planets out there. Similar to OGLE, as scientist Daniel Kubas said, the search for a second Earth is the driving force behind our research, and this discovery constitutes a major leap forward since it is the most Earth-like planet we know of so far, a source of far-flung neutrinos, ghostly particles, extraterrestrial origins. These might sound like supernatural matters, but they are actually descriptors for an occurrence happening in outer space. The spiral galaxy labeled NGC 1068 has been referred to as an amusement park of sorts, sending out masses of particles in a process called neutrino production. These strange specks are ghostly neutrons that barely interact with the matter around them. Neutrinos are subatomic particles that have no charge, hence neutrons, and almost no mass. These particles only interact with two forces, gravity and weak force, which causes some types of radioactive decay. They travel at extremely high speeds and are abundant in the universe everywhere, and there is an estimate that says about 100 billion of these particles move through a person's body every second. But because they interact so weakly with matter, they're very hard to detect. Even so, they exist almost everywhere and can also be created anywhere, from out of decaying elements within the Earth to humongous supernova explosions. Scientists have sought an understanding of these neutrinos and all the many ways these furtive particles are created. Scientists have found that many of these elusive neutrons with origins in the galaxy NGC 1068, also sometimes called the Squid Galaxy, are coming out of a hotspot in its center called Messier 77, which is anchored by a black hole. The galaxy is about 47 million light-years away from Earth and can be seen using binoculars or an average telescope. This region contains a very dense amount of gas and electromagnetic fields. A professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and the study leader of this research, Francis Halzen, said that these characteristics are what makes this area a Disneyland for producing neutrinos. He also pointed out that there has been an increase in research revealing connections between similar active galactic cores and a large amount of neutron production. What makes these discoveries so motivating to scientists and researchers is that it not only reveals a source of neutron production, but it also begins to point at what may be the accelerator of cosmic rays and the sources of the neutrinos, said Holson. TOI 674b. There is so much that lies beyond our solar system waiting to be explored and discovered. At school, you may have memorized the 8 planets of our solar system and a notable mention to Pluto. It should not be surprising that planets exist outside of our solar system too. These are exoplanets, and some scientists believe investigating these should be the next step in understanding what is out there. Perhaps we will find one just like Earth, and if we do, will it support life? The main piece of equipment being used to conduct this research is TESS, the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite. TESS is operating under NASA's Explorer program and is the primary space telescope looking for exoplanets. TESS was launched 4 years ago and has smashed expectations, identifying 2,601 celestial objects that could be exoplanets. Once these are indicated, more research is taken to confirm planetary status, and so 122 exoplanets have been confirmed so far as a result of TESS. Of course, there are plenty of fascinating stories because of TESS, from the planets that could possibly be hosts to finding out what is hiding behind some of the brightest stars nearby. One exoplanet discovered in the January of 2021 by TESS is TOI 640b. Following the discovery, scientists used a variety of techniques, including spectroscopic and photometric observations, to confirm that this was indeed an exoplanet. The results described TOI 640b as a low-density, super-Neptune planet transiting an M-dwarf star. Overall, what we know about the exoplanet so far is that it lies 1,115 light-years away from Earth, has an orbital period of just 5 days, and has been confirmed as one of the largest super-Neptune-class planets found to orbit an M-type star. Hopefully, as TESS continues to do more great research and uncover more and more, we will find more exoplanets that can tell us about what else is out there, from possible life to star types. On Mars, a mysterious emblem has been spotted that appears to be etched into a stone. Recently, the Mars Opportunity rover captured a picture that displays an object resembling the form of a cross, reminiscent of a Celtic or Irish cross. Many ancient civilizations utilized the Celtic cross and Irish cross designs even before the advent of Christianity. There have been various interpretations surrounding the purpose of the circular ring that encircles the cross. These explanations range from its connection to sun worship and symbolic significance to its aesthetic function of creating a more confined shape for the cross. Many individuals who have examined NASA images extensively contend that they may offer evidence to support the existence of a former civilization. However, some individuals remain unconvinced and argue that it appears to be a naturally occurring phenomenon. Over the years, there have been many reports of anomalous features and structures seen on the surface of Mars. While many of these anomalies can be explained by natural geological processes or human error, others have proven to be more difficult to explain and have fueled speculation about the possibility of ancient civilizations or even extraterrestrial life on the Red Planet. One of the most famous anomalies seen on Mars is the so-called face on Mars, which was first photographed by NASA's Viking 1 probe in 1976. Despite the debunking of many of these formations, there have been many other anomalies observed on the Red Planet that are more difficult to explain. For example, there have been many reports of strange artificial-looking structures seen on the Martian surface, including pyramids, domes, and other geometric shapes. Some have even suggested that these structures could be evidence of an ancient Martian civilization or even a current civilization that is still living underground. Another anomalous feature seen on Mars is the so-called Mars rat, a small rodent-like object that was photographed by NASA's Curiosity rover in 2015. While many scientists have argued that the rat is simply a rock that happens to resemble a small animal, others have suggested that it could be evidence of a small surviving life form on the planet. Other anomalous features seen on Mars include strange lights and flashes, unusual clouds, and mysterious dust devils. While many of these phenomena can be explained by natural processes, others remain unexplained and have fueled speculation about the possibility of advanced life on the Red Planet. Despite the many anomalies seen on Mars, it is important to approach them with a critical eye and consider alternative explanations. While the idea of ancient civilizations or current life on Mars may seem exciting, it is important to remember that there is currently no direct evidence to support these claims and that many of the anomalies seen on the planet can be explained by natural phenomena. Over the years, there have been many reports of unidentified objects seen in the skies above Mars. While some of these sightings may be explained by natural phenomena or human error, others have proven to be more difficult to explain and have fueled speculation about the possibility of advanced life. One of the most famous sightings on Mars occurred in 1959, when the Soviet Union's Mars 1 probe sent back images of what appeared to be a disc-shaped object hovering over the planet's surface. While some skeptics have argued that the object was simply a camera artifact or a trick of the light, others have suggested that it could have been a genuine unidentified object. Over the past few decades, scientists have made numerous breakthroughs in our understanding of Mars and have discovered a wealth of evidence that suggests the planet may have once been habitable. For example, NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter has detected large deposits of water ice just below the planet's surface, which could provide a vital resource for future human missions to the planet. Similarly, the Curiosity rover has detected organic molecules in Martian rocks, which could be a sign of past or present microbial life. As we continue to explore Mars and search for signs of life on other planets, it is important to maintain an open mind and approach the evidence with a critical eye. While the possibility of advanced life on Mars may seem tantalizing, it is important to remain cautious and skeptical and to consider alternative explanations for any unusual phenomena we observe. Ultimately, Only through careful scientific investigation and collaboration can we hope to uncover the truth about mysterious aircrafts and other mysteries of the universe. The vortices near Jupiter's North Pole. We have all seen the beautiful images captured by NASA of the other planets. And it's always astounding when a new, clearer image is revealed to the public. But what you might not have known is that these photographs are not just beautiful. They also serve to provide very important information about the planets. And this has never been truer, as in the case of the new pictures of Jupiter, which have allowed for the discovery of vortices near the planet's North Pole. NASA recently captured a new photograph of the planet through its JunoCam instrument, showing vortices near the North Pole that look as though they have been painted by watercolor. However, this deceitfully calming and alluring image is actually a culmination of chaotic and tumultuous storms that frequent and indeed make up the planet of Jupiter. The storms are hurricanes with wind patterns that can reach speeds of up to 30 miles in height and are spread across 100 miles of gaseous plains. Furthermore, the colors that we see are edited to enhance what we can perceive of the planet's atmosphere and surface. The gorgeous images NASA provides are often slightly altered and colored in order to show the depths and shapes of Jupiter's storms, which would otherwise not be as clear and evident. The new photograph was taken at about 15,600 miles above Jupiter's cloud tops. It was then digitally altered and enhanced by scientist Brian Swift for the purposes of revealing these Jovian storms and analyzing them. So while there are some pictures of Jupiter that look blue and others that are more reddish, in reality, the actual color of the spirals seen in those pictures are actually dependent on their directions and chemistry. The color palettes of these storms differ depending on whether they are moving clockwise or counterclockwise in the planet's northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere. Jupiter's Great Red Spot, for example, is a storm in the southern hemisphere that moves counterclockwise. Besides the fascinating color schemes, scientists are interested in learning more about Jupiter's stormy weather and finding more information about Jovian clouds and the fluid dynamics in the planet's atmosphere. NASA's Parker Solar Probe has captured the first visible light images of Venus. One of the amazing things about how we view space is the fact that we can paint a picture of certain areas in any number of wavelengths that can each tell us something unique about the area which we are attempting to learn about. Capturing these observations outside of the spectrum of visible light means that sometimes it can be hard to see elements of space as they truly are, and to paint a picture that is representative of how they would look if they could be seen in person. Recently, researchers solved this dilemma with one element of space, the mysterious and cloudy Venus, whose thick atmospheric cover means that its surface is usually thoroughly shielded from view. But recent analysis has confirmed that images taken in 2 flybys of Venus by NASA's Parker Solar Probe captured some of the first visible light images of the night side of Venus using its wide-field imager. The images were combined into a video that reveals how truly varied and interesting the elusive surface of Venus truly is. The images show a lightly glowing oxygenated atmosphere that sheds a soft light onto a surface riddled with what appears to be continental land masses, complete with everything from plains to plateaus. Study of Venus is incredibly important to researchers, and analysis of these images stands to provide significant advances to scientists' understanding of this prominent planet, occasionally referred to as Earth's twin. Because Venus is a major player in the search for extraterrestrial life forms, as well as the understanding of how the solar system formed, astronomers are deeply interested in the more detailed composition of the icy planet, as well as clues as to why Venus developed into a frigid wasteland while Earth became teeming with life. Brian Wood with the Naval Research Laboratory and lead author of the study detailing these results said, "Venus is the third brightest thing in the sky. But until recently, we have not had much information on what the surface looked like because our view of it is blocked by a thick atmosphere. Now, we finally are seeing the surface in visible wavelengths for the first time from space. What is even more exciting is that this discovery was entirely unexpected, as the wide-field imager had just been deployed to take photographs of the famously dense swirl of clouds atop the planet, to measure the speed at which they moved. It was not thought that the technology would have the capabilities to see deeper into the planet. Thus, the photographs were a happy surprise for researchers as the night side of the planet lined up perfectly with the camera lens of the spacecraft so that the longest wavelengths of the visible light spectrum were able to penetrate the clouds. Hopefully, this information can be used to get to the bottom of the mysteries cloaking Venus. The Sun, our nearest star, has always been a source of fascination and wonder. As humanity delves deeper into understanding its complex processes and dynamics, reports of unusual phenomena have also come to light. Among these, sightings of cube-shaped unidentified objects close to the Sun have sparked intrigue and speculation. Cube-shaped objects represent a unique and unexpected facet of the ongoing discourse about unidentified aerial phenomena. The solar environment is highly dynamic, characterized by powerful magnetic fields, solar flares, and other energetic phenomena. The presence of cube-shaped objects near the Sun challenges our understanding of both natural phenomena and the potential for advanced technological entities traversing our cosmic neighborhood. The nature of capturing images and data from instruments observing the Sun introduces the possibility of optical artifacts. Glitches, sensor malfunctions, and cosmic rays can all contribute to the appearance of anomalous shapes, including cube-like formations in observational data. The concept of cube-shaped objects near the Sun, potentially representing advanced technology, is an intriguing but speculative explanation. If such objects are indeed evidence of an extraterrestrial presence, it would raise profound questions about the motives, origins, and capabilities of these beings. The potential existence of cube-shaped objects close to the Sun prompts the scientific community to rigorously examine the data and evidence. By analyzing images, spectroscopic data, and other observations, researchers can determine whether the cube-shaped objects are genuine anomalies or can be explained through known phenomena. The pursuit of understanding cube-shaped objects near the Sun could stimulate technological advancements. Scientists might develop new instruments and observation techniques to capture high-resolution data, enhancing our understanding of both solar phenomena and potential cosmic visitors. While many cube-shaped sightings near the Sun may have mundane explanations, the presence of unexplained objects could encourage scientists to reevaluate their understanding of solar dynamics. Unconventional interactions with the Sun's magnetic fields, radiation, and energy could potentially challenge current models. As with any sighting, skepticism and rigorous investigation are essential. While the concept of cube-shaped objects near the Sun holds the potential for captivating revelations, it is important to approach these claims with a critical eye and a willingness to explore multiple explanations. As science and technology continue to advance, we are better equipped to distinguish between true anomalies and artifacts that may arise from data collection and processing methods. As of right now, the presence of cube-shaped objects observed near the Sun adds another layer of complexity to our understanding of the cosmos. While explanations could range from optical anomalies to advanced technology, the significance of these sightings lies in their ability to spark scientific inquiry, technological innovation, and renewed interest in the solar environment. Buzz Aldrin is best known for being one of the first two humans to walk on the Moon during the Apollo 11 mission in 1969. Along with Neil Armstrong, Aldrin landed on the lunar surface and spent about 2.5 hours outside the spacecraft, conducting experiments and collecting samples of the Moon's surface. Aldrin was also the first person to take a selfie in space, and he played a significant role in the development of space exploration and technology. After leaving NASA, Aldrin became an advocate for human missions to Mars and has been actively involved in the space industry, working on concepts such as reusable spacecraft and space tourism. Interestingly, back in 2009, Buzz talked in an interview about space exploration and said that a new mission into space will reignite the public's interest. However, at the end of the interview, he detailed that there's a monolith on the surface of Phobos and said that we should go and investigate it. He said the following: "Visit the moon of Mars. There's a monolith there, a very unusual structure on this little potato object that goes around Mars once in 7 hours." End quote. The Phobos monolith is an object that has been proposed to exist on the surface of Phobos, which is one of the 2 small moons of Mars. The idea of a monolith on Phobos gained attention in the 1970s when the moon was first photographed up close by the Viking 1 and 2 spacecraft. The monolith was initially suggested to be a large artificial object, possibly created by an extraterrestrial civilization. However, subsequent high-resolution images and closer observations by more advanced spacecraft have only caused more questions to arise. Today, most scientists believe that the Phobos monolith is simply a natural geological feature, such as a large boulder or a rock formation, that appears unusually smooth and rectangular in shape due to erosion and other processes on the Moon's surface. However, without going there and conducting experiments, some are of the belief that the mysterious object was placed there on purpose, noting that nothing in the surrounding area matches the strange object. The Phobos monolith mystery is amplified by the fact that Phobos is completely barren. Whilst Mars has an atmosphere and a weather system, Phobos sits silently in space with its solitary monolith pointing up towards the heavens. What's more is that Phobos is tiny compared to the grand scale of the universe, making the sight of something so massive atop of a small celestial body even more creepy. The effects of erosion are common for strange discoveries on other planets. Mars itself has been the subject of many strange discoveries, such as the Mars face, the Mars pyramid, and even the levitating spoon. These rock formations are usually a result of our perspective from Earth, as well as millions of years of rock degradation. While interesting to many, Phobos has yet to receive any significant research or space exploration. Optech and the Mars Institute have proposed that the site of the monolith be investigated. This mission is referred to as PRIME, fully known as the Phobos Reconnaissance and International Mars Exploration. The proposed mission would see a lander touchdown on the surface of the lonely moon to take samples of the moon's geology. Currently, the PRIME mission is not set to go ahead, and talks of funding are next to non-existent. In fact, when Aldrin discussed the idea of sending a mission to Phobos, he said the following: "When people find out about that, they are going to say, 'Who put that there?'" End quote. Cryovolcanoes on Ceres. In the main asteroid belt that sits between Mars and Jupiter lies Ceres, the largest of the asteroids. Ceres, first discovered in 1801 by Giuseppe Piazzi, was originally classified as a planet. This was until other large objects were discovered in the same neighborhood as Ceres. Astrologists at the time realized they were looking at a new type of object in space, so the term asteroid, meaning star-like, was first coined to describe these new objects. In the 1860s, it was widely accepted that these large asteroids had major differences to the planets we know, but a specific definition of planet was never formulated. At the 2006 Pluto debate, it was discussed the specific criteria that had to be met in order for an object to be considered a planet. Had it not been for a modification to this criteria stating the planet must have cleared the neighborhood around its orbit, Ceres would today be the fifth planet from the Sun. Obviously, due to the asteroid belt it lies within, Ceres is not classified as a planet, but a dwarf planet and an asteroid simultaneously. Now, whilst the controversy surrounding Ceres classification is certainly interesting, that's not what we're going to discuss today. Ceres itself is home to something much more fascinating. Since early 2015, NASA's Dawn spacecraft has orbited the icy world of Ceres, examining its surface closely. It wasn't until quite a few months had passed that the Dawn would observe something so fascinating, but so bizarre at the same time. It was a 13,000-foot tall mound closely resembling what we know as a volcano. Scientists named it Ahana Mons. In 2016, it was confirmed that Ahana Mons was indeed a volcano, but not your average volcano, a cryovolcano. A cryovolcano is, as you can imagine, a volcano, but with a twist. Instead of releasing molten rock or lava, like the volcanoes we have on Earth, a cryovolcano erupts water, methane, or ammonia. The water and other gases released often turn into a solid form once exposed to the low temperature surrounding the volcano, hence the more colloquial name ice volcanoes. These eruptions are referred to as cryomagma or cryolava. During eruption, they are liquid but are also released as a vapor. Cryovolcanoes are thought to be able to form on moons and asteroids that used to have an abundance of water. The reason Ahana Mons erupts water and other substances rather than magma is simple. The temperatures on Ceres are simply too cold to melt rock, but warm enough that ice can melt. Ahana Mons was only able to be understood more when scientists examined mineral salt, likely the product of a cryovolcanic eruption. Inside the Achater crater found it had origins in Ahana Mons, which in turn relates both fascinating natural structures. The Ahana Mons is 57 miles across and as deep as Ahana Mons is high. The large impact that tore the giant Ahana Mons crater into the surface of the dwarf planet must have originally started everything and triggered the later cryovolcanic activity, says Andreas Nathus, framing camera lead investigator for Max Planck. After this event, Rock around the planet reshuffled and moved up towards the surface. The change in pressure allowed water and dissolved gases to escape that would eventually form a volcano. It's also suggested that many smaller explosions around the dwarf planet caused the cryovolcanism rather than one major event. Cryovolcanism isn't exclusive to Ceres, though, as it has been spotted on Enceladus, one of Saturn's moons, Europa, a moon of Jupiter, and Triton, Neptune's largest moon. Cryovolcanoes are a fascinating insight into the wonders of the universe and things we couldn't even imagine being possible. Space tourism company to launch commercial flights to the stratosphere by 2024. Traveling to space, a concept that, until recently, was nothing more than a wishful fantasy straight out of a sci-fi novel or TV show. Well, now Worldview Enterprises has entered the scene, and they are planning on revolutionizing the spaceflight industry to make spaceflights accessible to a wider range of people. Worldview Enterprises was established 10 years ago in Arizona, and is now offering a journey into space by using rocketless balloons that will travel straight up into the stratosphere. A far cry from Bezos' Blue Origin flight, the Worldview Enterprises experience will be an interesting endeavor to be sure. The balloons will lift Voyagers 18 miles into the air. This is nowhere near as deep into space as the company's competitors offer. True space is said to begin at the Kármán line, 100 kilometers into space, though others argue it begins at 50 miles up. Blue Origin's flight can get you just above the Kármán line at 106 kilometers. The peak of the Worldview Enterprises flight might disappoint, but they are confident in their rocketless aviation, claiming it will be worth the once-in-a-lifetime experience. Clients will be able to witness the Earth's curve for the first time with their own eyes, as well as see the true darkness of space. CEO Ryan Hartman stated, "We're redefining space tourism." Lamentably, the tickets start at $50,000, hardly a cheap venture for those curious about participating in the journeys. The flights are said to be between 6 and 8 hours in length. Some journeys might last several days. The balloons are more accurately capsules that can hold up to 8 people at a time. The company is planning on operating 100 flights annually over various historically or culturally important landmarks that will supposedly last 5 days. Some such destinations include the Great Barrier Reef, the Giza Pyramids, and the wonders of the world, and the journeys are allegedly going to be smooth and gentle. Worldview Enterprises argue that unlike Blue Origin flights, which use rocket power and suffer G-force, their balloon alternatives will allow people of all sizes and ages to traverse space. When asked about whether the Worldview Enterprise space travel is a joyride, CEO Ryan Hartman refuted it, saying it's much bigger and more important than most people realize. Hartman claims he wishes to turn space travel into a commodity for all sorts of people from all walks of life, for families, for couples, for cosmos-loving individuals. Hartman believes that space is the future of the travel industry. The very first flight has already been entirely sold out by Space for Humanity, a non-profit organization that is offering the purchase tickets to anyone who wishes to participate, but is unable to afford the relatively expensive tickets themselves. The first flight will begin in Arizona, near to the Grand Canyon. However, the company are hopeful that they might be able to add other landmarks to that list soon after they can prove how the world should invest in their idea. NASA has just announced that a huge asteroid will come within just 100,000 miles of Earth, which is twice as close as the Moon. The object is estimated to be over 300 feet in length. The United States Space Agency's Asteroid Watch team said the following. Astronomers with the International Asteroid Warning Network are using this approach to learn as much as possible about this asteroid in a short time period. It's good practice for planetary defense in the future if a potential asteroid threat were ever discovered. End quote. NASA has a program in place called the Near-Earth Object Observations Program, which is designed to detect, track, and characterize asteroids and comets that come within a certain distance of Earth. The program includes a network of ground-based telescopes and also employs spacecraft to observe and study near-Earth objects. One of the key goals of the Near-Earth Object Observations Program is to identify any objects that may pose a threat of impact to Earth. If an object is detected that has the potential to collide with Earth, NASA will first work to refine the object's orbit to better understand its trajectory and predict where it might impact. NASA will then evaluate potential mitigation strategies, such as deflecting the object off its trajectory or disrupting it using a kinetic impactor. NASA also collaborates with other national and international organizations to detect and track near-Earth objects. For example, the agency works with the European Space Agency to operate the Space Situational Awareness Program, which includes the segment dedicated to monitoring these objects. Overall, NASA's efforts to detect and study near-Earth objects help to protect Earth by providing an advanced warning of potential impacts and informing strategies for mitigating the risk of collision. However, every year, NASA misses various asteroids of all sizes, with one of the most recent ones being in November 2021, when a large asteroid barely missed Earth, with the Planetary Defense Team saying that no one knew it was coming. Although a 300-foot asteroid doesn't sound like much, its impact could be devastating. The effects of a 300-foot asteroid impacting Earth would depend on several factors, such as the composition and speed of the asteroid, as well as the location of impact. However, generally speaking, such an impact could cause significant damage and potentially loss of life. If the asteroid were composed of a relatively dense material like iron, it could have a high kinetic energy upon impact, resulting in an explosion-like effect. This could cause a large crater to form and eject material into the atmosphere, potentially causing wildfires and other forms of damage. If the impact occurred over an ocean, it could cause a tsunami, which could devastate coastal areas. In addition to the immediate effects, an impact of this size could also have longer-term consequences. The material ejected into the atmosphere could block sunlight and cause a cooling effect, potentially leading to crop failures and other disruptions to ecosystems. Furthermore, the impact could release large amounts of dust and debris into the atmosphere, which could remain there for years and affect global climate patterns. Astronomers describe a rare black widow star system. A new study describes a unique astronomical object called the Black Widow pulsar. The star system, named J06102100, is about 10,000 light-years from Earth. It was discovered in 2003 after scientists noticed periodic pulsing in the area. Scientists decided the system was a pulsar. A pulsar is a collapsed, highly magnetized star that rotates very quickly. They shoot out electromagnetic blasts out of their poles. So if their pole is facing the Earth, we can see the light in space, but it quickly goes away as the star spins. For example, J06102100 flickers every 3.8 milliseconds as it turns around. The object was named after the black widow spider that famously eats other spiders of a smaller size. The Black Widow pulsar is made up of two stars, one larger and one smaller. The larger of the two is slowly devouring the smaller star by pulling most of the surrounding matter into space. In addition to removing any matter from its vicinity, the larger star hits the smaller star with consistent energy discharges. On J06102100, these pulses have been happening over the last 100 or even 1,000 of years. These hits of energy push much of the remaining star matter into space. Since the star could devour its smaller counterpart at some point, scientists want to study this system before it goes away. Emma van der Woteren, a doctorate student at the Netherlands Institute for Radio Astronomy, studied the Black Widow pulsar for years and analyzed 16 years of data from a radio telescope to discover more about the pulsar. She and her team found some unique and interesting things about this specific star system. First, this system has never shown any changes in timing. It was consistent and steady throughout the past 16 years. Typically, Black Widow pulsars are irregular and temperamental, which is why this finding is so important to astronomers. Second, the star system does not have a radio eclipse, which is found in most other Black Widow pulsars. A radio eclipse happens when radio emissions stop during a specific part of the star's orbit path around each other. Van der Woteren explains this occurs when the companion star moves close to the front of the pulsar, and all this irradiated material coming off of the companion eclipses the pulse emission from the pulsar. While the radio eclipse is still stumping scientists, the steady timing has a clear and helpful purpose. Van der Woteren says to detect gravitational waves you need many very stable pulsars. And unlike earlier Black Widow pulsars that have been discovered, this system is very stable. Scientists believe that if they analyze the consistent energy pulses of the larger star, they might be able to detect gravitational waves, which are uncommon ripples in the fabric of spacetime. Gravitational waves, theorized by Albert Einstein, appear when massive universal objects collide. The waves from the collision move through space and time at light speed and warp the fabric of the universe as they ripple past. Pluto has giant ice volcanoes that could hint at the possibility of life. As it turns out, secrets have been hiding on the dwarf planet Pluto's surface all this time. According to astronomers, giant ice volcanoes have recently erupted with icy sludge. This area on Pluto is completely unique compared to what astronomers have seen in our solar system. This new discovery was made possible with NASA's New Horizons spacecraft, which captured photos of Pluto's moons and surface in 2015. These images were used to observe Pluto more closely than before and led to the discovery of two prominent peaks that were thought to be icy volcanoes. This speculation was further proved by clues of erupted ice lava found in the images. While we tend to associate volcano eruptions with hot lava, ice volcanoes or cryovolcanoes erupt with water ice mixed with other substances such as methane or ammonia. For years, astronomers have been searching for evidence of these cryovolcanoes on other solar objects like the dwarf planet Ceres and Saturn's moon Titan. As Pluto has been long suspected of having cryovolcanoes due to it resting on the frigid edge of the solar system's Kuiper belt, these photos provide more evidence for their existence on the dwarf planet. The eruptions of slush are also expected to keep their shape due to the average temperature of Pluto sitting at -387 degrees Fahrenheit. According to the author of the study, Kelsey Singer, the icy material was probably more like the texture of toothpaste when it first erupted out of the ice volcanoes. But due to the extreme temperatures on Pluto, the liquid water quickly formed massive domes found on the region. Due to the lack of impact craters in the area around the cryovolcanoes that are usually seen on Pluto's surface, it is suggested that the ice volcanoes were active about 100 to 200 million years ago, a relatively short time in the grand scheme of things. This recent activity indicates to astronomers that the volcanoes may erupt again just as volcanoes on Earth switched from dormancy to activity. Astronomers know that Pluto once had a subsurface ocean, and the discovery of these ice volcanoes points to the possibility that they may still be present. This possibility of a liquid ocean existing on Pluto increases the once 0% possibility of existing life on Pluto to a slim chance. As Singer points out, there are still a lot of challenges for any organisms trying to survive there. They would still need some source of continual nutrients, and if the volcanism is episodic and thus the heat and water availability is variable, that is sometimes tough for organisms as well. Despite the challenges, this slim chance has been a giant leap in the knowledge of what we previously believed about Pluto. According to an anonymous military insider, they revealed that there is footage of unidentified objects interacting with United States aircrafts around the same time that the balloon craze was happening, but said that the U.S. Department of Defense has declined to make it public. The existence of this footage suggests that there have been incidents involving mysterious aircrafts and that the government deems this footage as highly classified. We are all aware that a Chinese spy balloon was taken out above the United States. And in February of this year, a pilot operating a reconnaissance plane managed to snap a selfie as he flew over the spy balloon before it was taken down. Interestingly enough, over the course of several weeks, 3 additional unidentified objects were destroyed while flying through the skies. One of the objects was shot down above Deadhorse, Alaska on February 10th, followed by another in the Yukon Territory in Canada just 24 hours later. The final object was neutralized by a fighter jet while flying at an altitude of 20,000 feet over the Great Lakes on February 11th. These occurrences appear to suggest that there may be a potential threat to air travel that needs to be taken into consideration by those in the business of aviation. According to a Department of Defense spokesman, they admitted that there exists visual evidence in the form of photos and videos related to the incidents. However, as of right now, the spokesperson declined to share them. According to the Pentagon spokesman, there is footage of aircraft interactions with high-altitude objects, but it has been classified and cannot be released at this time. There is no specific timeline for its potential release. Some noticed that the United States quickly declassified footage showing a Russian jet collision with a U.S. military drone over the Black Sea, which led some to question why they wouldn't release the footage of the mysterious objects they encountered earlier this year. As of right now, the government's decision to withhold this footage has raised questions about the content and fueled speculation within the public. There's been a few ideas that have been put forward for why the United States government is doing this. One is that these aircrafts may be a threat to national security, and so officials don't want the general public knowing about them. While the other is that the imagery may be potentially embarrassing for the government. The Bottle Cap Balloon Brigade located in northern Illinois recently informed news websites that there is a possibility that the object, which was shot down over Yukon, could be their relatively inexpensive $13 balloon hobby project. According to a member, upon hearing that there was a silver object with a payload attached to it, their initial thought was that it could possibly be one of their balloons. John Greenwald, a researcher in the field of unidentified objects, was denied access to see some images through his Freedom of Information Act request. The Pentagon cited national security exemptions in refusing John's request. According to an Air Force representative who spoke to Greenwald, the disclosure of these images could potentially reveal sensitive information about intelligence operations, including covert activities and the sources or methods used in intelligence gathering. Additionally, the images may also contain information pertaining to scientific or technological advancements, as well as economic matters related to national security. Both Canadian and American governments have decided to stop searching for the unidentified objects that were reportedly seen in the sky. President Biden has confirmed that the unknown craft was most likely a group of research balloons, and this decision was made after an extensive search was conducted by both governments. The government was mocked over this, with many saying that the United States spent $101,000 to take down a balloon worth less than $15. However, there's still many details that don't add up. On February 3rd, a woman witnessed what she described as a possible explosion in the sky above Billings. The woman captured a video of the incident and shared it on social media. The video showed a bright burst of light in the sky which was followed by a loud booming sound. According to Miss Moore, she spotted a jet flying overhead, followed by a loud explosion in the sky. It is uncertain what exactly happened, but her post caused many people to wonder about the cause of the explosion. According to Moore, a former employee at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Great Falls, she quickly made an assumption that the recent explosion was possibly related to the Chinese surveillance balloon that was sighted in Billings. She believes that there may be a connection between the two incidents, but was told by officials that the balloon wasn't in the area at the time of her sighting. As of right now, the footage has been declared as genuine, but no one has been able to identify what the object was. Interestingly, shortly after this post, others came forward with their sightings and encounters, saying that they had seen fast-moving objects in the sky moments before one of them was taken down. To this day, there are still many unanswered questions. The topic of mysterious aircrafts has been a matter of interest and debate for several decades. Many people have reported sightings of strange objects that defy the laws of aviation, and there are many theories about their origins and purposes. One of the most intriguing aspects of these sightings is the involvement of governments around the world. Firstly, it is important to note that the government's involvement with these aircrafts is not a new phenomenon. In fact, there are reports of government investigations into mysterious objects dating back to the 1940s. One of the most well-known investigations was conducted by the United States Air Force in the 1950s-1960s, known as Project Blue Book. This project collected thousands of reports and attempted to provide explanations for them. However, it was eventually terminated in 1969 due to the lack of evidence of any threat to national security. Those who've investigated the unknown have said this was used as a front and that further programs were opened immediately after Project Blue Book closed, with some researchers saying this was done to give off the impression that these mysterious aircrafts were not of interest. Despite the termination of Project Blue Book, many people believe that the government continues to investigate these strange objects. There have been several reports of government agencies, such as the Central Intelligence Agency and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, conducting investigations into mysterious sightings. In addition, some people believe that the government has covered up evidence of sightings in order to avoid public panic or to protect national security, which has caused researchers to say that government officials know more than what they're letting on. As of right now, the relationship between the government and these strange objects is complex and often controversial. While some people believe that the government has evidence of these strange aircrafts, others have said that the majority of sightings can be explained as things such as planes, helicopters, wildlife, and natural phenomenon. However, Believers point out that the phenomenon of unidentified objects has been reported for centuries, with many cultures and civilizations describing encounters with strange aerial objects. However, one of the earliest recorded sightings of a strange aircraft comes from the 4th century BC in ancient Greece. The Greek historian Thucydides, in his work, History of the Peloponnesian War, described an unusual occurrence during a battle in the skies over the city of Syracuse. According to his account, during the siege of Syracuse in 413 BC, both the Athenian and Syracusan armies witnessed a great shape, all in white, hovering over the city. Thucydides goes on to say that the object remained in the sky for some time, emitting a loud noise before eventually disappearing from sight. This account is significant, not only for being one of the earliest recorded sightings of a mysterious aircraft, but also for its detailed and objective nature. Thucydides was a respected historian known for his attention to detail and his reliance on first-hand accounts. His report of the sighting is based on the testimonies of multiple witnesses and is presented in a matter-of-fact manner. The ancient Greek civilization was not the only one to record sightings of strange objects in the sky. Similar accounts can be found in other ancient texts such as the Vedas of ancient India and the writings of ancient Chinese scholars. These accounts suggest that the phenomenon of strange aircraft has been part of human experience for 1,000 years. In the late 1800s, reports of strange sightings in the sky began to emerge in the United States, specifically in the Midwest and West Coast regions. The sightings were of strange airships, unlike any known aircraft of the time, and they sparked a sensation that became known as the mystery airships. The earliest recorded sighting of a mystery airship occurred in November 18, 1996 in Sacramento, California, when witnesses reported seeing a cigar-shaped object with bright lights hovering over the city. The following year, reports of similar sightings began to emerge from other areas, including Nebraska, Texas, and Kansas. The descriptions of the mystery airships varied, but they generally were reported to be large, cigar-shaped objects that were brightly lit and often had propellers or wings. Some witnesses reported seeing windows or portholes on the craft, and some claimed to have seen strange beings inside. Others reported that the airships emitted strange sounds or had strange propulsion systems, such as a rotating blade or a cannon-like device that shot out flames. The reports of the mystery airships captured the public's imagination, and newspapers of the time covered the sightings extensively. The stories often speculated about the origins and purpose of the airships, with some suggesting they were from other planets or that they were secret inventions of a foreign government. However, as quickly as the sightings began, they also seemed to disappear. By the end of 1897, reports of the mystery airships had largely ceased, and they were soon forgotten as the focus of the public's attention shifted to other phenomena. As of right now, the mystery airships remain an enigma. Some skeptics suggest that the sightings were simply misidentifications of known aircraft or hoaxes perpetrated by pranksters or newspaper reporters. However, others point to the consistency of the reports across different regions and the lack of any known aircraft that could have been responsible for the sightings. Oddly enough, witnesses would often describe the aircrafts as being able to hover in the sky motionless without making a sound. And amateur researchers have said that these aircrafts are still being sighted today, which adds credibility to these claims. The mystery airships of the late 1800s remain a fascinating piece of American folklore and continue to intrigue those interested in unexplained phenomena. Mysterious aircrafts have been a subject of fascination for people across the globe for several decades. These mysterious objects are typically reported as flying in the sky and exhibiting unusual flight characteristics that cannot be explained by conventional aircraft. While many people dismiss these sightings as hoaxes, misidentifications, or illusions, others believe that they represent evidence of advanced life or advanced technology. One reason why these objects interest people is the possibility that they may represent evidence of advanced life. Humans have been searching for signs of life beyond Earth for centuries, and the possibility that other intelligent beings exist in the universe is a topic that has captivated the imagination of many people. The possibility that these sightings are evidence of extraterrestrial spacecraft has been explored in many books, movies, and television shows, and the idea of advanced life visiting Earth is a popular trope in science fiction. Another reason why these aircrafts interest people is the potential implications for science and technology. If these sightings are indeed evidence of advanced technology beyond human capabilities, then it could have a significant impact on the way we understand the world and our place in it. Scientists and researchers may be interested in studying these sightings in order to learn more about the laws of physics and the potential for new technologies. Mysterious aircrafts may also interest people because of the mysteries that surround them. Despite the many sightings that have been reported over the years, there is still much that is unknown about them. Questions remain about the nature of these objects, the beings that may be piloting them, and the reasons behind their visits to Earth. The unknown elements of mysterious flying aircraft adds an element of excitement and intrigue for those who are interested in the topic. Haiti is a small Caribbean nation located on the island of Hispaniola. Despite its small size, Haiti is rich in natural resources, such as gold, copper, and silver. However, in recent years, a new resource has been discovered in Haiti that has caught the attention of the global scientific community: iridium. Iridium is a rare and valuable metal that is primarily used in the production of high-performance alloys for the aerospace industry. It is also used in the production of high-performance spark plugs, electrical contacts, and other industrial applications. Iridium is one of the rarest elements on Earth. In 2012, a team of scientists led by Dr. Stephen Dutch from the University of Wisconsin-Madison discovered significant deposits of iridium in Haiti. The discovery was made using data obtained from remote sensing techniques that included airborne gamma-ray spectrometry and magnetic surveying. The data revealed that the iridium deposits were located in the northern part of Haiti, near the town of Port-de-Paix. The discovery of iridium in Haiti is significant for several reasons. First, the deposits are estimated to be one of the largest in the world, with an estimated value of around 20 billion. Second, the discovery challenges the current scientific understanding of iridium deposits, which are thought to be mainly associated with meteorite impact craters. The Haitian iridium deposits are believed to have been formed by the same tectonic processes that created the island of Hispaniola. The deposits are thought to be associated with a specific type of rock formation known as serpentinite. Serpentinite is a greenish rock that is commonly found in areas of tectonic activity, such as subduction zones. Despite the significant value of the Haitian iridium deposits, their exploitation has been hindered by a range of political and economic challenges. Haiti is one of the poorest countries in the world with a long history of political instability and corruption. The government has struggled to attract foreign investment in the mining sector, and there is widespread concern about the impact of mining on the environment and local communities. In addition, the exploitation of iridium is a complex and expensive process that requires advanced mining and processing technologies. The cost of developing the necessary infrastructure and expertise to mine the iridium deposits is estimated to be in the $1 billion. Despite these challenges, there is growing interest in the Haitian iridium deposits among international mining companies and investors. The government has recently taken steps to streamline the mining permitting process and improve the regulatory environment for mining operations. The discovery of iridium in Haiti has put the country on the map as a potential source of this valuable and rare metal. However, the challenge of exploiting these deposits in a responsible and sustainable way remains significant. The Haitian government and international investors will need to work together to ensure that the economic benefits of mining do not come at the expense of the environment and local communities. Based on recent reports, Canadian and U.S. companies have carried out some drilling that has led to the discovery of valuable metals, such as gold, silver, and copper, with an estimated worth close to 20 billion. This discovery is considered to be a potential economic benefit for the country. According to various news websites, Canadian company Eurasian Minerals plans to start gold mining operations in Haiti's 3 northern provinces within the next 12 months. The company currently controls rights to more than a third of the northern region, which encompasses an area of at least 1,500 square kilometers. As of now, the company has tested over 44,000 samples and has teamed up with Newmont, the world's second largest gold producer. Several North American companies have been granted licenses or conventions for land in Haiti, amounting to over 750 square kilometers. Experts have estimated that, in total, these companies hold licenses for approximately 15% of Haiti's land. These companies have dedicated over $30 million for exploratory activities such as digging, drilling and testing to validate the deposits of gold in the same region as the iridium mines. The company's operations were met with opposition from local communities and environmental groups who raised concerns about the potential impact on water sources, agriculture, and cultural heritage sites. The exploration and exploitation of Haiti's mineral resources have been hampered by the country's political and economic instability, as well as concerns about environmental and social impact. Any future efforts to mine iridium or other precious metals in Haiti will likely be subject to intense scrutiny and debate, given the complex challenges involved. Iridium is a metallic element and is a hard, brittle, dense, and silvery white metal that is highly resistant to corrosion and has a very high melting point. It is one of the rarest elements in the Earth's crust. Iridium is also one of the most expensive metals on the planet, and it has several unique properties that make it valuable in various applications, including aerospace, electronics, and medicine. One of the most interesting facts about iridium is that it is present in relatively high concentrations in some meteorites. In fact, it was the discovery of an iridium-rich layer in sedimentary rocks around the world that led to the theory that an asteroid impact caused the extinction of the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. The high concentration of iridium in the boundary layer of rocks around the world is thought to have come from the vaporization and distribution of asteroid material in the atmosphere, which then settled on the Earth's surface. This theory was first proposed by Luis Alvarez and his son, Walter, in 1980 and was later supported by geological and paleontological evidence. Although iridium is present in some meteorites, it is not entirely clear whether the element originates from them. It is thought that iridium may have formed in the early universe through a process called explosive nucleosynthesis, which occurs in supernovae explosions. The element could then have been scattered throughout the galaxy by supernova explosions and eventually accreted onto the Earth during its formation. In addition to its presence in meteorites, iridium is also found in small quantities in ores of other metals, such as platinum, nickel, and copper. It is mainly extracted as a byproduct of platinum mining, where it is present in small amounts in the ores. The mining and refining of iridium is a complex and expensive process which contributes to its high cost and rarity. Iridium has a wide range of applications due to its unique properties. It is used in spark plugs, crucibles, and other high-temperature applications due to its high melting point and resistance to corrosion. It is also used in various electronic devices, including magnetic disk drives and mobile phones due to its excellent electrical conductivity and resistance to oxidation. In addition, iridium is used in medicine for the treatment of cancer, where it is used in the form of radioactive isotopes. While iridium is present in some meteorites, it is not entirely clear whether the element originates from them. The element is highly valuable due to its unique properties, and its rarity and high cost make it a highly sought-after commodity. The discovery of an iridium-rich layer in sedimentary rocks around the world has contributed to our understanding of the extinction of the dinosaurs and the role of asteroid impacts in shaping the Earth's history. The concept of time travel has long captivated the human imagination and sparked fascination and curiosity across cultures and generations. The very idea of journeying through time, either to revisit the past or explore the future, holds a profound allure for many. One alleged time traveler just recently announced that something bad is going to happen. The individual in question said that his name is Alexander, and he claimed to be a time traveler from the future. He appeared disheveled, wearing clothes that seemed out of place, and carried an air of urgency and foreboding. He spoke of a future society on the brink of collapse, ravaged by environmental degradation, social unrest, and economic inequality. His words painted a grim picture of a world plagued by wars, scarcity of resources, and a complete breakdown of societal structures. He warned that unless immediate action was taken, this impending catastrophe would occur within the next 5 years. Users on social media listened with a mix of disbelief and concern. Some dismissed Alexander as being delusional, while others contemplated the possibility of his claims. They pondered the repercussions of ignoring his warning and the potential consequences for their own lives and future generations. Although the idea of Alexander being a time traveler seemed far-fetched, his message weighed heavily on those who had read it. Many voiced their concerns with how the world is and said that it's likely that things are going to get worse in the future. Alexander posted one more on social media, telling people once again that things will get much worse before they get better, and told people that an uprising will happen within the next 5 years, saying that people couldn't deal with the conditions any longer. Some pointed out that these claims are rooted in reality, with one of Alexander's warnings being about famine. The issue of famine and its potential future impact is a complex and multifaceted one. While it is challenging to predict with certainty, there are several factors that suggest the possibility of increased risks of famine in the future. One of the primary factors contributing to concerns about future famine is the growing global population. As the world's population continues to expand, the demand for food resources increases. Coupled with environmental challenges, land degradation, and water scarcity, meeting the food needs of a larger population becomes more difficult. If proper measures are not taken to enhance agricultural productivity, improve distribution systems, and address environmental concerns, the risk of food shortages and subsequent famines could rise. Changing weather patterns, extreme weather events, and rising temperatures can have detrimental effects on agricultural production. Heat waves, droughts, floods, and shifts in rainfall patterns can lead to crop failures, livestock losses, and reduced food availability. Vulnerable regions that heavily rely on agriculture as their main source of food and income are particularly at risk. If adaptation strategies and resilient agricultural practices are not implemented, the impacts on food production may exacerbate the risk of famine. Furthermore, economic factors, including poverty, play a significant role in determining the vulnerability of populations to famine. Alexander warned that we have to prepare for this because, as of right now, there's no way of stopping it. Another alleged time traveler is that of Andrew Bayago. Andrew Bayago is a controversial figure, known for his claims of being a participant in a secret government project involving time travel and teleportation. While his assertions have gained attention and sparked curiosity among some individuals, they are met with skepticism by many within the scientific community and the general public. Bayago asserts that he was involved in a classified project called Project Pegasus during his childhood in the late 1960s, early 1970s. According to his accounts, the project involved sending individuals, including adolescents, through time and space using advanced technologies. Bayago claims to have been selected as a participant in these experiments due to his exceptional abilities and intelligence. One of Basiego's most remarkable claims is that he was sent back in time to witness historical events, including significant moments such as Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address in 1863. He asserts that these experiences were part of the government's efforts to gather intelligence and alter the course of history. Bayago has shared detailed accounts of his alleged time travel experiences, including specific dates, locations, and interactions with historical figures. He has presented photographs that he claims provide evidence of his presence during these time-traveling excursions. However, critics argue that the authenticity and reliability of these photographs are questionable, and they lack verifiable evidence to support his claims. Furthermore, Basiego's accounts of time travel and teleportation go against our current understanding of physics and the limitations imposed by the laws of nature. The concept of time travel, especially backward time travel, remains highly speculative and is not supported by scientific consensus. While scientists have explored theories such as wormholes and time dilation, the practicality and plausibility of these ideas are yet to be fully understood or realized. Additionally, Basiego's claims lack independent corroboration, making it challenging to assess the veracity of his experiences. The absence of credible witnesses or other participants from Project Pegasus further undermines the credibility of his accounts. Skeptics argue that the lack of collaboration or support from others, who allegedly participated in these clandestine projects, raises doubts about the existence of such initiatives. Basiego's assertions have been met with skepticism by researchers, scientists, and the general public. His claims have not been subjected to rigorous scientific scrutiny or replicated under controlled conditions. Without substantial evidence, it is challenging to accept his accounts as reliable or accurate representations of historical events or time travel experiences. It is worth noting that mainstream scientific and academic communities remain unconvinced and cautious in their assessment of his assertions. The scientific method, which relies on empirical evidence, testable hypotheses, and peer review, demands a higher standard of proof than what Basiago has presented thus far. While Basiago's claims may be captivating and fuel the imagination, it is crucial to approach them critically and with skepticism. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and until compelling, verifiable evidence is presented, it is reasonable to question the validity of his assertions. As of right now, Andrew Basiago's claims of involvement in a secret government project involving time travel and teleportation are met with skepticism and scrutiny by the scientific community and the general public. While his accounts of time travel experiences may capture the interest of some, they lack the necessary evidence and independent corroboration to be considered credible or scientifically valid. It is important to approach such claims with a critical mindset, relying on empirical evidence and rigorous scientific investigation to assess their plausibility. Rock apes in Vietnam. As the American GIs battled through the dense jungles of Vietnam, the U.S. government began a defoliation program to assist in the jungle warfare and clear out the native plant life in war-torn areas. Although the lasting effects of Agent Orange are still being uncovered in the modern day, with a wide range of birth defects, brain damage, heart damage, and cancer-causing agents, there appears to have been an unforeseen consequence of Agent Orange during the Vietnam War. Referred to by American soldiers as rock apes, consistent reports were made by a wide number of platoons of giant humanoid creatures fleeing the dying jungles of Vietnam and encountering the American GIs with sticks and rocks in battle. One veteran wrote the following report. Serving with the 101st Airborne in the mountains of Vietnam, I saw them, the rock apes, on many occasions. They were as large as a big man and usually were in small groups of 2 to 3, unlike Bigfoot, but were bigger than most men and smaller than Bigfoot. They were spotted on days but would also set off our trip flares at night. This could very well be evidence that Bigfoot-like species inhabits the jungles of Vietnam, and under threat of their environment collapsing, came out of their hidden regions and battled with soldiers to save their forests, only to relocate to other jungles unaffected by the Agent Orange defoliant. World War II Airman UFO Encounter. Some of the most terrifying dogfights during wartime were first experienced during the Second World War, with desperate Japanese pilots committing kamikaze just to get a leg up on the war, German fighter planes pushing the boundaries of flight technologies to fly faster and further than previously theorized possible, underground British factories piecing together advanced fighter jets with dwindling resources for dramatic last stands, and U.S. Air Force pilots holding their own in some of the largest aerial bombers that had ever been constructed in history. All of these advancements failed in comparison, however, to the strange technological advances witnessed by United States airmen that claim to have witnessed countless encounters with unidentified flying objects. Described as cigar-shaped rocket-like crafts on the late November evening back in 1944, the 415th Night Fighter Squadron reported seeing a number of peculiar lights along the Rhine Valley Ridge, north of the French-German border. The report detailed that there were about 81 lights in a row that emanated a fiery orange glow. As the Night Fighter Squadron turned to attack the craft, the lights faded and appeared to have disappeared from the region entirely. This was one of a countless number of military reports that described similar-looking unidentified flying objects, with one of the strangest reports being the witness account of Lieutenant Samuel Krasny. According to Krasny's report, as he was flying, he noticed a large wingless cigar-shaped object with a reddish glow floating alongside him just a few yards off the plane's wingtip, seemingly attached by an invisible wire maintaining a perfect distance and speed. Immediately, Krasny went into evasive maneuvers and rolled the plane while dropping down to get away from the craft, only to witness the cigar-shaped object follow his maneuvers perfectly and maintain its position relative to his airplane with perfect cadence. After several minutes of additional maneuvers, Presley said that the object suddenly faded in color and shot off at an incredible impulse speed away from his craft before disappearing from sight. These lights were later provided the name of Foo Fighters by the airmen witnessed in reference to Smokey Stover's comics that would say, "Where there's food, there's fire," reminiscent of the strange craft's fiery color. Woodwose. Woodwose, also known as the hairy wild man, is a mysterious creature that is believed to have existed in Europe during the Middle Ages. It is believed that this Bigfoot-like creature had hair all over its body. It was more close to humans than apes, and it could be described as an extremely hairy wild human. There are a number of theories about the Woodwose. Some people believed that Woodwoses were actually people who had gone into the woods. As they lived in the woods, over time they adapted to the conditions and in order to protect themselves, they grew hair all over their bodies. According to another theory, some people who were born with an unusually high density of hair on their bodies retreated to the woods and decided to live in isolation, as they could not live a normal life in human society. However, some modern-day researchers have proposed that they were actually Neanderthals who were still alive in Europe up until the Middle Ages. The praying mantis humanoid. A couple were walking together in Chicago's Schiller Woods, a large, fairly flat area of woodland on the outskirts of Chicago O'Hare Airport. There isn't anything particularly special about Schiller Woods, but the area has been host to multiple deaths over the years, most predating our story by some time. However, this isn't what we're focusing on today. The couple, for whatever reason, were going to practice a pagan ritual in the woods. They completed the majority of this ritual, but towards the end, they spotted something strange amongst the trees. The lady jumped up, startled at what she'd spotted, and thought they'd just seen the slender man. The figure was around 7 or 8 feet tall and had a strange gray complexion with big, bulbous eyes, the sort you'd find on an insect when viewed under a microscope. The witness explained that the creature had long arms that dropped below its knees, and that these arms were attached to strange, claw-like hands. The creature allegedly seemed keen to stay away from the couple and remained amongst the trees. It seemed reclusive and almost scared of them. The couple thought it would be best to leave the creature alone and hastily made their way back to the car. Still startled and feeling strangely in awe of what they just witnessed, the couple discussed whether either of them had noticed anything strange or different whilst they'd been practicing the ritual. Neither of them could think of anything, but on the way home, they noticed something. The area around the woods was normally densely populated with animals. All sorts of deer, raccoons, and other wildlife were commonly sighted near Schiller. However, on the night of the sighting, no wildlife was to be seen anywhere. Schiller Woods were eerily quiet and empty. The creature that the couple saw had been described as a humanoid in the form of a praying mantis. Male praying mantis can fly, are long-bodied with disproportionately sized limbs. They're usually green, but given this one was 7 feet tall and allegedly part human, it's forgiven for not totally conforming to the stereotype. Whatever the couple saw in Schiller Woods that evening, we're sure that they're glad that things stayed behind the trees. Spring-heeled Jack. In 1837, a woman named Mary Stevens was walking to Lavender Hill in South London, when suddenly a mysterious figure leaped in front of her. It grabbed her and scratched her body with its claws. As the woman started screaming, the passerby rushed to help her. But before they could reach, the mysterious figure had vanished. Locals searched for the mysterious aggressor, but they could not find him. This was only the first incident involving the mysterious aggressor with sharp, claw-like hands. Within the next few days, several other young women also reported similar incidents in London and surrounding areas. The incidents associated with the mysterious figure made their way to the press, who gave it the name of Spring-heeled Jack. In February 1838, Spring-heeled Jack made another appearance. This time, a woman named Jane Alsop claimed that she was attacked at the door of her house by a mysterious gentleman who was wearing a cloak. According to her, someone had rang the doorbell, and when she opened the door to see who it was, the mysterious gentleman took off the cloak and breathed white and blue flames onto her. As she stood there in shock, the mysterious figure started cutting her clothes with its claws. The attacker fled after Alsop's sister rushed to the door to help her. The police arrested a man named Thomas Milbank and a case was made against him. However, he couldn't be convicted as Jane Alsop insisted that the man who had attacked her could breathe fire. During 1838, many other incidents of Spring-heeled Jack attacking young women were reported, and gradually these incidents spread throughout England. Similar incidents were reported in Scotland as well. However, over time the incidents associated to Spring-heeled Jack started decreasing. The mysterious man became a part of popular culture, however. A number of novels were written about him and various supernatural abilities were attributed to him. The last reported sighting of Spring-heeled Jack was in 1904. Since then, there haven't been any other sightings. Over the years, there has been a lot of debate as to who or what this mysterious man or creature was. Some believe that it was merely a man trying to terrorize the locals in an effort to gain popularity. Others believe that it was a ghost-like creature that was attracted to young women. Whatever the reality of Spring Hill Jack was, this Victorian demon has become a part of popular culture forever. Someone by the name of Nalani posted a strange photograph on social media, claiming that it was captured during the Hawaii wildfires. Since the fires have started, various theories have been put forward to explain what happened. Deep within the confines of a forest in Hawaii, a local was able to capture a mysterious photograph. Those who saw the image said that the beam can be seen hitting the forest. Part of the forest can be seen emitting large amounts of smoke, and it was at this point that locals started to move away from the area. Oddly enough, the individual who took the photograph said that it wasn't until they viewed their photo album that they noticed the strange laser-like formation. It's important to note that this isn't the first time that these mysterious objects have been seen, and as of right now, a variety of different explanations have been put forward to explain what they are. Some have said that they are natural phenomena and that this happens during natural weather changes. Others went down a different path and suggested that the beam is man-made. According to military officials, these energy beams do exist, but said that they are not used within these environments, and further detail that they are called energy weapons, and they operate on the principle of concentrating electromagnetic energy and delivering it to a target. Unlike traditional kinetic weapons that rely on projectiles, this new weaponry emits focused beams of energy that can travel at the speed of light, enabling almost instantaneous target engagement. These energy weapons offer a range of applications across various domains, including military, space, and civilian sectors. In the military realm, these provide advantages such as precision targeting, reduced collateral damage, and a virtually unlimited ammunition supply as they rely on energy sources like electricity rather than physical munitions. However, those who have seen the photograph have said that there's no reason why this would be used in such an area. Some have suggested that it could have been a fire tornado. Fire tornadoes, also known as fire whirls, are a captivating meteorological phenomenon that marries the destructive force of fire with the mesmerizing spirals of a tornado. These unique occurrences are not only awe-inspiring, but also serve as a testament to the intricate interplay of atmospheric conditions, fire behavior, and fluid dynamics. Fire tornadoes, although rare, have been documented in various parts of the world where conditions are conducive to their formation. They typically arise in the midst of large wildfires or intense industrial fires, where the combination of intense heat, convective currents, and turbulent winds creates the ideal environment for their genesis. The interaction between the heat of the fire and the surrounding cool air triggers an updraft, setting the stage for the development of a fire tornado. The basic formation of a fire tornado involves a rising column of hot, buoyant air that twists and spirals due to the influence of crosswinds. As the fire generates intense heat, it heats the surrounding air, causing it to rise rapidly. This hot air column begins to rotate due to the Coriolis effect caused by the Earth's rotation and the interaction with the inflowing cooler air. This rotation becomes more pronounced as the fire's heat and intensity increase, leading to the characteristic swirling motion that defines a fire tornado. The mechanics behind fire tornadoes are rooted in the principles of fluid dynamics and convection. The rising column of hot air behaves like a vortex, drawing in additional air from its surroundings. This inflow of air intensifies the rotation, creating a self-sustaining cycle. As the fire tornado gains strength, it can develop into a complex and dynamic structure with multiple vortices forming within the main world. According to the latest update on August 14th, the number of fatalities resulting from the wildfires has risen to 96, solidifying these wildfires' status as the most lethal in modern history. As of Saturday, authorities have cautioned that the search and identification process for the victims is still in its initial phases. Despite the dedicated efforts of search teams, they have only covered a mere 3% of the extensive search area. It is crucial to note that this ongoing operation is complex and requires meticulous attention to detail. On Sunday, Hawaii Island experienced the occurrence of not one, but two small earthquakes near the vicinity of Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Based on information from the U.S. Geological Survey, two relatively minor earthquakes with a magnitude of 2.6 each were recorded. These seismic events took place in the vicinity of Volcano Town, specifically 5.3 miles west-northwest of the area. A second earthquake, measuring 4.3 on the magnitude scale, struck at 1 in the afternoon. The earthquake originated approximately 5 miles south-southeast of Volcano, within the well-known Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. According to recent reports, the initial data released by the United States Geological Survey indicated 3 separate earthquakes. However, upon closer examination, it was discovered that the second and third quakes occurred just 5 seconds apart and are now considered to be part of the same seismic event. This observation has prompted a reconsideration of the initial findings. According to the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, there is currently no imminent threat of a tsunami. Hawaii is a place that has experienced wildfires on multiple occasions, but the recent ones that have occurred over the past few days are being labeled as some of the most severe in the history of the archipelago. The toll taken by these fires has been absolutely devastating, and while the exact cause is still being investigated, their impact has been far-reaching and profound. The combination of hurricane-force winds and arid conditions played a significant role in intensifying the wildfires. The occurrence of drought or abnormally dry conditions has significantly impacted vast regions of Hawaii, with particular focus on the entirety of Maui Island. This phenomenon has played a substantial role in the prevailing situation. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, approximately 14% of the state is currently experiencing either severe or moderate drought conditions. Furthermore, a staggering 80% of Hawaii is classified as being abnormally dry. This means that a significant portion of the state is facing a shortage of water, which can have detrimental effects. Dry weather conditions have the detrimental effect of sapping the moisture from plant life, thereby rendering it more susceptible to ignition and subsequent propagation of fire. Scientists have conducted extensive calculations and determined that a significant decrease in rainfall has occurred in approximately 90% of the Hawaiian Islands when compared to the levels recorded 100 years ago. The identity of the woman who caused a disruptive incident on an airplane, referring to someone as not real, has been revealed as a 38-year-old marketing executive from Dallas. According to police reports, Tiffany Gomez allegedly became agitated during a dispute with her accompanying relatives. According to a police report, the individual from Dallas claimed that her family members had taken her AirPods. The viral incident that occurred on July 2nd took place on Flight 1009, which was traveling from Fort Worth to Orlando, Florida. Gomez expressed concern about the safety of the airplane and cast doubt on its ability to reach its intended destination, following her accusation that her relatives had taken her AirPods. According to official documents, it is stated that she did not want to leave the plane, and American Airlines staff had to forcibly remove her after her outburst. According to the police report, the woman expressed concern about the safety of the aircraft and requested that it not depart because she believed it would not reach its intended destination. Because of the comments made, the flight attendants believed that it was necessary to conduct a second security check on the airplane. The airline manager clarified that the passenger was not allowed to board, and they desired to have her accompanied to the public area. Passengers aboard the aircraft were required to disembark and undergo security screening once more as a preventive measure. According to the police report, Transportation Security Administration staff were present at the location to perform a thorough screening of the plane once again. Gomez was ultimately guided to the non-secure section of the airport. However, as stated in the report, they made multiple attempts to re-enter through TSA screening. However, upon the arrival of officers from the Dallas-Fort Worth Department of Public Safety, a highly agitated Gomez declined to communicate with them and made an attempt to reboard the aircraft. The police subsequently located her at a terminal curb where she was patiently awaiting an Uber ride. Gomez received a criminal trespass notice ticket but declined to sign it. However, she was never taken into custody. In 2017, the marketing executive gained recognition for her exceptional performance as the Vice President of Client Services at Elevate Brand Marketing, earning the title of a rising star. According to public records, she obtained her degree from Oklahoma State University and currently resides in a residence valued at $2 million in the Lakewood neighborhood. Gomez established Uppercut Marketing, a marketing company located in Dallas. The incident generated significant online attention as Americans were curious about what Gomez meant during her outburst. A video posted on social media displayed her evident distress while on board the aircraft, where she vocalized her concerns about an individual who she believed did not actually exist. At the time, the unidentified woman confidently asserts that she is determined to disembark from the aircraft, and she provides a rationale for her decision. She leaves it up to others to believe or disbelieve her statement as she makes her way to the front of the plane. She emphasizes that she doesn't care at all, but she wants to make it clear that the person in question at the back of the plane is definitely not genuine. She said that you have the option to remain on the plane and perish alongside them or choose not to. Oddly enough, the incident that went viral was allegedly experienced by comedian Carrot Top, who stated that he was on the plane at the time. He mentioned that the woman did this in front of everyone. Carrot Top recounted the incident on various social platforms, saying that he hopes that she's now happy because everyone is now stranded in Dallas. He mentioned that the woman was visibly distressed, but he did not provide any further details or explanation. Elon Musk announced that a brain implant created by his health tech firm is expected to start human testing within 6 months. During a recent presentation by Neuralink, Musk provided updates on the company's wireless brain chip while revealing his plans of implanting the chip in his own brain. He also discussed the prospects of conducting clinical trials. Musk reportedly stated that utmost caution and certainty is necessary to ensure the successful functioning of a device before it is implanted in a human. Neuralink has announced that it is working on brain chip interfaces that have the potential to restore vision for the blind and full body functionality, such as movement and verbal communication for individuals who have incurred spinal cord injuries. According to news websites, the technology aims to achieve a remarkable feat using electrical signals to communicate with the brain, thereby enabling it to interpret information from sensors and translate them into movements or signals recognizable by the user. The company announced that the interface designed for the motor cortex can undergo human testing in as early as 6 months. Musk mentioned that the company has submitted most of the required FDA paperwork to allow the implant of the device into a human body. Neuralink has been conducting experiments on animals while it awaits the go-ahead for clinical trials. The goal of this technology is to create a direct interface between the human brain and computers, which could have a wide range of applications from restoring mobility to people with paralysis to improving memory and cognitive function. The idea of implanting a microchip in the brain is not new, and there have been several research projects over the years exploring this concept. However, what sets Neuralink apart is the company's focus on developing a high-bandwidth wireless interface that can transmit large amounts of data between the brain and computer in real time. The technology works by implanting small, flexible threads into the brain, which are then connected to a small device called the link. The link is a small computer that is implanted behind the ear and is designed to communicate wirelessly with external devices, such as smartphones or computers. The threads that are implanted in the brain are thinner than a human hair and are designed to minimize damage to the brain tissue. The threads are also flexible, which allows them to move with the brain and minimize the risk of damage or rejection. One of the primary applications of this technology is to restore mobility to people with paralysis. By implanting the microchip in the brain and connecting it to a computer or robotic device, it may be possible to bypass the damaged spinal cord and restore movement to paralyzed limbs. Another potential application is to improve memory and cognitive function. By implanting the microchip in the brain and using it to stimulate certain areas, it may be possible to enhance memory and cognitive function in people with brain injuries or neurological disorders. While the potential applications of this technology are exciting, there are also significant ethical and practical considerations that need to be addressed. One concern is the risk of infection or damage to the brain tissue during the implantation process. This is a complex and delicate procedure that requires a high level of skill and precision, and there is a risk of complications or adverse effects. Another concern is the potential for the technology to be used for nefarious purposes, such as mind control or surveillance. While the technology is currently being developed for medical and therapeutic purposes, there is always a risk that it could be used for other purposes in the future. There are also concerns about privacy and security. With a direct interface between the brain and computer, there is a risk that sensitive personal information could be accessed or stolen. There is also the risk that the technology could be hacked or manipulated for malicious purposes. Despite these concerns, there is significant potential for this technology to revolutionize the way we interact with computers and machines. By creating a direct interface between the brain and computer, it may be possible to create a more seamless and intuitive way of interacting with technology. It is also worth noting that the development of this technology is still in the early stages, and there is much work that needs to be done before it can be widely adopted. The technology needs to be tested and refined to ensure its safety and effectiveness, and there are still many unanswered questions about how it will work in practice. As of right now, Elon Musk's company, Neuralink, is working on developing a microchip that can be implanted in the human brain. While the technology is still in the early stages of development, it has the potential to revolutionize the way we interact with computers and machines. However, there are also significant ethical and practical considerations that need to be addressed, including concerns about safety, privacy, and the potential for misuse. As the technology continues to evolve, it is important that we carefully consider these issues and work to ensure that it is used for the benefit of humanity. Elon Musk says scientists only have a 5 to 10% chance of being able to make AI safe. Although many people have put a lot of hope in the future of artificial intelligence and in the possibilities that can emerge from a world run with the help of cognizant machines, one tech mogul is not so hopeful. Elon Musk is highly involved in the creation of artificial intelligence as well as research into the development of brain-computer interface technology that would allow humans to essentially merge with machines. His company, OpenAI, has even created an artificial intelligence system capable of self-teaching. Yet, despite his heavy involvement in the field, Musk remains apprehensive about a future run by machines and estimates that the ongoing efforts to make artificial intelligence safe for humans only has a 5 to 10% chance of success. This dire prediction means that AI will almost certainly pose an immense risk to humankind, and Musk is not the only one to recognize and voice these concerns. Stephen Hawking repeatedly claimed that he was certain that artificial intelligence systems are distinctly dangerous and could potentially replace humans altogether. Yet, the realm of artificial intelligence development moves resolutely forward, and with it, the capabilities of non-humans. AI systems have been developed that create languages, express curiosity, diagnose illnesses, identify different or unusual behaviors, perform military simulations, and even systems that are capable of creating other AI systems. It would seem that, with only a small amount of further development, the machines would not need us anymore. However, Musk is less concerned with a robot uprising reminiscent of a scene from a movie, and more concerned with the potential barriers and possibilities that he sees in a future run by artificial intelligence. Firstly, he is wary of the potential for a system to be created that is not only smarter than humans, but also has the capacity for independent learning with no limits. Even though algorithms can be programmed or trained to recognize good and bad actions, they lack the emotional aspect of human feelings. When this unlimited knowledge is combined with the fact that AI machines lack emotions, remorse, or an inherent moral code, the possibilities for what an artificial system is capable of is alarming. Musk is also concerned about the likelihood that this enormous power would be controlled by just a few companies with the funds to develop the technology, and there is currently no oversight or regulations that would check the almost limitless power of whoever controlled the realm of artificial intelligence. It remains to be seen whether Musk's predictions will come to fruition, but in the meantime, researchers are carefully navigating this never-before-entered realm of non-human intelligence. A few years back, Egyptologists revealed they found a mysterious black goo, with them saying that it was used to cover mummies. Several artifacts and mummies were covered in this mysterious black goo, and after tests were conducted, the team said they were able to trace it to the 19th and 22nd dynasty. It's reported that one of the mummies that was found to be covered in this substance was a priest to the sun god Ammonius, and said that he passed away almost 3,000 years ago. After this, he was placed into a large wooden coffin and had the black goo poured over him. Archaeologists had noticed that this substance was used on various mummies and also artifacts that were found inside these ancient burial sites, and so they decided to conduct a variety of tests to find out more about it. The British Museum was able to find out more about this substance and what its exact purpose was. It's reported that researchers in the area were able to collect over 100 samples of this black goo, saying that some of these samples were vaporized in a process called gas chromatography. After this, they were placed through a tube which helped separate the molecules. Dr. Kate Fulcher, research assistant in the museum's Department of Scientific Research, said the following about the experiment. We discovered that the goo is made of a combination of plant oil, animal fat, tree resin, beeswax, and bitumen, which is solid crude oil. The exact ingredients vary from one coffin to the next, but the goo was always made from some of these. End quote. Interestingly, she also said that there were other ingredients inside the black goo that they were unable to detect, saying that they likely degraded to the point that they could no longer be picked up on. Archaeologists said that this goo had been found in wooden figurines, large boxes to help bond them, and also coffins. Even King Tutankhamun's tomb contained figurines that were covered in the black goo. But researchers said that, as of right now, these had not been analyzed. One of the reasons this substance was created the way it was is because the ancient Egyptians thought that the color black symbolizes rebirth. Dr. Kate Fulcher continued with the following. Osiris was called the Black One in various texts and is often depicted with black skin and in the guise of a mummified body. Black is also the color associated with the silt deposited on the banks of the River Nile after the annual flood receded. It could therefore be reasoned that the practice of coating coffins in black goo links the coffin to regeneration associated with Osiris. The archaeologists also noticed that the black goo helped to bond the coffins together. And one idea was that this was to stop robbers from being able to steal them. The researchers found that this substance wasn't plentiful and that only the elite of ancient Egypt would have had access to it. Large amounts of it was found inside various tombs throughout Egypt, with scientists saying some of it went missing and some was cleaned off when the artifacts were first found. The black goo has been found in coffins from the Third Intermediate Period, but Dr. Fulcher said that further excavations could reveal that this goo was used during different periods. A recent discovery made in Sudan also showed that this black goo was present, and this was because it was under Egyptian control. Not only does this show us that there were elite members living in this region, but it's also direct evidence that the ancient Egyptians had established a trade route with them. Archaeologists have known for some time now that the ancient Egyptians were advanced in many areas, and one discovery that proved this was that of the Great Sphinx of Giza. When the ancient Greek civilization first journeyed to Egypt and laid witness to its incredible methods of construction, megalithic structures, advanced cities and technologies, and incredible strides in mathematics and philosophy, not only were they completely intrigued by this, but they quickly worked to try to classify what they saw and provide it with the names we know today. When the ancient Greeks came across the large stone structure that depicted a lion with the face of a man, reminding the Greeks of the stories of the Sphinx recorded in the struggle of Oedipus, they quickly named the structure the Sphinx as an ode to their own culture seen in the Egyptian culture. However, outside of this original encounter, nothing else was known about the strange structure. In fact, new evidence and research today has found that it could very well be possible that the Sphinx structure itself is far older than supposed Egyptian writings and documents proclaim it to be. One of the main reasons for why the Sphinx has been dated its current age of being only 4,500 years old is not due to carbon dating or other reliable efforts made to accurately measure its date, but rather because of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics and documents that detail that the Sphinx was supposedly created during the reign of Egypt's 4th dynasty. Unfortunately, it was recently discovered that these documents could very well not be legitimate and that the pharaoh of the 4th dynasty forged them for the sole purpose of taking credit of another past pharaoh's works, a common practice amongst pharaohs to rewrite history and take the honor of a past pharaoh's lifelong efforts. This was discovered not by taking a closer inspection at the Sphinx, but rather discoveries made in the tombs of long-deceased kings of Egypt. Originally, a theory put forward by the groundbreaking author Robert Temple, there appeared to be overwhelming evidence that the Sphinx we know today was actually an attempt made by a pharaoh of the 4th dynasty to do nothing more than to claim the works of those before him. Evidence for this can be found when analyzing the head-to-body ratio. In fact, the head on the Sphinx is so small that many had often believed upon first sight that it could have been grinded down from a much more massive structure. The second piece of evidence is provided by the hieroglyphics located at the Temple of Teptufu that outline in great detail that the original god of ancient Giza was Anubis, and the accounts and images of Anubis in his jackal form are drawn all throughout the site in the same pose as of the body of the Sphinx, with no mention of a lion of any kind at the ancient city. Interestingly enough, this exact same pose was discovered in one of the only tombs of an Egyptian pharaoh ever discovered that had been completely undisturbed since his burial, the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. Within King Tut's tomb is a shrine to Anubis that demonstrates an exact scale of the Sphinx statue, but with the head of a jackal to represent Anubis, showing in overwhelming evidence that the original statue at the ancient city of Giza was supposed to be that of a jackal-headed Anubis, and not that of a lion body with a human head. So where do we get the idea of a human head and a lion body? The truth is the only reason why the statue is referred to as a sphinx is because of old Greek mythologies, such as those of Oedipus that talk about a lion with the head of a man called a sphinx. But no such symbol exists in that of ancient Egypt. This means that the hieroglyphic texts that describe the Sphinx with a human head to represent the pharaoh of the 4th dynasty was nothing more than a forgery by the then pharaoh to take credit for a great statue of which he had not created or designed. In fact, a former pharaoh gives a great account about providing his royal dog a grand burial at the site of ancient Giza. In this text, his argument for why he had such a royal burial for what has been speculated to be his guard dog was due to his want and need to have the dog buried before the great god Anubis. Not only definitively proving that the Sphinx was originally that of the god Anubis in the jackal form, but also that the structure itself was created during the pre-dynastic times long before any pharaoh could claim ownership of its creation. This could very well mean that not only was the creation of the Sphinx older than that of the dynastic reigns of Egypt, but that perhaps the structure is older than the Egyptian civilizations themselves. Further evidence of this theory can be found when analyzing the recent archaeological finds of strange bones discovered all throughout ancient Egypt. It is well known amongst Egyptologists that the ancient Egyptians treasured animals of all kinds, believing them to be the representation of their gods. It's due to this obsession that strange structures and bones from animals all around the world, even from areas previously believed to not have been operating open trade routes, have surfaced all across ancient Egyptian cities. Described as Egyptian zoos, strange hieroglyphics and designs have come forward showing evidence that not only were the early Egyptians capable of owning strange beasts from around the world, but that they possibly possessed an extinct species of woolly mammoth. Dubbed as the world's first zoo, a 6,000-year-old ancient Egyptian cemetery was uncovered filled with the remains of wild animals from all around the world that should have been unable to collect from the reaches of early man for 1,000 of years to come. Skeletons of ostriches, crocodiles, leopards, and other exotic animals were found alongside pools of water, large fenced-in cages, and a potential animal hospital filled with removed molars, teeth, claws, and evidence of animal surgeries. Though the importance of animals regarding the Egyptian religion was widely known, the evidence of the global reach of the species available to them, including species long believed to be extinct, has been a mystery that even the most elite of archaeologists and Egyptologists have failed to explain. This is odd, mostly due to the fact that it is widely believed by historians and archaeologists all around the world that the oldest civilization to exist was merely 10,000 years old. However, evidence in the fossil record shows that the modern-day intelligent human has been around for more than 50,000 years. So why is it then that the oldest cities don't start appearing until the past 10,000 years? It might have to do with the evidence of the extinct animals recorded in Egypt. The woolly mammoth was one of many distinct megafauna that went extinct at around the same time in the fossil record, merely 10,000 years ago. These extinct species included the mastodon, short-faced bear, the giant ground sloth, and many others. In fact, when Charles Darwin first visited the areas near the Galapagos Island, when he originally discovered the ground sloth bones, they were so fresh that he believed them to be a still living species of megafauna. So why was it then that around 10,000 years ago, all of these species went extinct? Partly due to three strange reasons: large fires, a massive flood, and a sudden ice age. The evidence for these three events are widely known by archaeologists and research scientists, with them saying that the fossil record shows that all around the Earth appeared to be massive fires that were followed by a rapid cooling event. Many experts had originally speculated that perhaps a massive meteorite strike could have caused such a phenomenon, but no large crater supporting the theory had yet been discovered at the time of the original publications. However, this year, a massive crater underneath an ice sheet in Greenland shows a tremendous impact point where a meteor could have hit, generating more than 700 megatons of force. Any human civilization at the time, regardless of how advanced, would have been completely wiped off the face of the Earth in such a massive meteor strike. All of this happening at not only around the same time as a massive extinction event, but also around the same time the oldest civilizations would have been constructed. Could this be evidence then that perhaps the pyramids and the Sphinx, as well as many other advancements made in megalithic structures and creations, could actually more accurately come from the efforts of human beings from before this catastrophic event, and the Egyptians were merely the surviving peoples to pick up where humanity left off. Given the incredible advancements we have made in the past 10,000 years, this could very well mean that the humans before the event could have been significantly more advanced than we are today. And the old stories of gods and kings could have been the technological advancements before humanity had to reset due to such a catastrophic tragedy. Definitely one of the most puzzling mysteries on the planet is that of the Great Pyramids of Giza. The sheer size, precision, and manpower required to build such a colossal structure is nearly impossible even in the modern era, which makes it all the more mysterious that an ancient culture, such as one of the first civilizations ever to arise, had the engineering capacity and means to create the massive pyramids of Giza. For a reference to the size of the pyramids, each block of the colossal structure weighs roughly 2.5 metric tons, with over 2,300,000 blocks making up the entirety of the structure. Not only did this require 315 blocks to be moved in place each day for the next 20 years, but to accomplish such a building scale of delivering the large stones and moving them into place even today would be an almost impossible feat, unable to be matched. If a stone wall was made to be 2 feet high and 4 inches wide, using the blocks of the pyramid at Giza, the wall would wrap around the circumference of the entire world. Not only this, but the blocks were made with such perfect precision that each block appears to be an exact clone in size to the rest of the blocks of the pyramid. Meaning the cut of each stone was so perfect, it would be impossible to slide something as thin as a piece of paper between any 2 stones. The only way to accomplish such a precision cut in the modern era would be to rely on laser guiding and cutting. As new discoveries and mapping of the pyramids continued, even more mysterious findings were made. Archaeologists and Egyptologists found high trace amounts of chemical compounds throughout the shafts of the pyramids that have the ability to have generated a massive amount of hydrogen by utilizing commonly found base chemicals in the region, leading some researchers to believe that the pyramids themselves could have once been powerful hydrogen generators capable of supplying electricity and energy similar to modern-day power plants. Considering no other explanations for the trace chemicals have been put forward with any success, it appears to be the only standing theory relative to explaining any purpose the pyramids had, considering not a single body or artifact had been found inside the structures, including chambers never previously opened inside the colossal structures. Whatever theory you subscribe to, the nature of the pyramids are not just a mystery of Egypt, but a mystery of the history of humanity. Illegal digging, also known as looting or tomb raiding, has been a persistent problem in Egypt for many years. The country's rich archaeological heritage and the lure of valuable artifacts have made it a prime target for looters. According to a 2018 report by the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities, there were more than 30 cases of illegal digging or attempted illegal digging reported in the country that year alone. However, it is believed that many more cases go unreported. Illegal digging can have a devastating impact on Egypt's cultural heritage. It can lead to the destruction of archaeological sites and the loss of important artifacts that can never be recovered. It also fuels a black market for antiquities where stolen artifacts are sold for large sums of money. The Egyptian government has taken steps to combat illegal digging, including increasing penalties for those caught and stepping up patrols of archaeological sites. However, the problem persists and more needs to be done to protect Egypt's cultural heritage from looters. Just recently, a video of a digger was uploaded to social media where the user said that they found something interesting. The object in question appears to be gold and has on the back of it hieroglyphics, while on the front is what appears to be an unknown female Egyptian. The carving is strange as it always appears to be staring at you. However, the phenomenon of the eyes appearing to follow you is actually an optical illusion called the Mona Lisa effect. It is named after Leonardo da Vinci's famous painting, the Mona Lisa, which appears to follow viewers no matter where they stand. The effect occurs because of the way our eyes perceive objects in the visual field. When we look at a painting or a portrait, our brains perceive it as a three-dimensional object, even though it is actually flat. This means that our brains try to adjust our perspective based on the position of the painting, causing the eyes to appear to follow us. Oddly enough, though, it's reported that the digger who found this artifact also found various other ancient relics, saying that gold bars along with small golden statues were also found. The digger went on to detail that these objects were found inside an old abandoned tunnel, but didn't give away any details as to where this tunnel was located. Ancient Egypt was one of the most important and influential civilizations in human history. The discoveries and artifacts left behind by the ancient Egyptians provide valuable insights into their culture, religion, social structure, art, and technology. There are various reasons why people illegally dig in Egypt, but most of them are driven by the desire to find valuable antiquities that can be sold on the black market. These antiquities are often stolen from archaeological sites or tombs and sold to collectors or dealers who are willing to pay large sums of money for them. Another reason is the lack of economic opportunities in certain areas of Egypt, particularly in rural areas where poverty is widespread. In such areas, people may turn to illegal digging as a way to make money since the sale of antiquities can be a lucrative business. In some cases, political instability and conflict can also contribute to illegal digging. During times of unrest, security forces may be preoccupied with other issues, allowing looters to operate with relative impunity. Unfortunately, illegal digging in Egypt has a significant impact on the country's cultural heritage. When antiquities are stolen and sold on the black market, they are often lost forever with little hope of ever being recovered or returned to their rightful place in history. Additionally, illegal digging can cause damage to archaeological sites and tombs, further eroding Egypt's rich cultural legacy. Interestingly, gold was highly valued in ancient Egypt and was used for a variety of purposes, such as jewelry, religious objects, and as a symbol of power and wealth. The ancient Egyptians obtained gold from various sources, including mines in Nubia and the Eastern Desert. Some of the gold was used to make elaborate burial masks, jewelry, and other funerary objects for the pharaohs and other elite members of society. The tombs of some pharaohs, such as King Tut, were filled with gold objects, including the famous solid gold funerary mask. It's believed that much of the gold from ancient Egypt was eventually melted down and reused for other purposes over time. Some of it may have been lost or stolen during the many invasions and conflicts that occurred throughout Egyptian history. However, there are still many ancient Egyptian artifacts made of gold that have survived to this day and continue to fascinate people around the world. The ancient Egyptians were most successful during the period known as the New Kingdom, which lasted from approximately 1550 BCE to 1069 BCE. This era saw a period of great expansion and prosperity for Egypt, with powerful pharaohs who were able to establish Egypt as a major military and economic power in the region. During the New Kingdom, Egypt experienced a renaissance in art, architecture, and culture. The pharaohs of this era built magnificent temples and palaces, and many of the most famous monuments of Egypt, such as the temple complex at Karnak and the Valley of the Kings, were constructed during this time. The New Kingdom also saw the rise of the powerful pharaohs, such as Ahmose I, Hatshepsut, Thutmose III, Amenhotep III, and Ramesses II, who were able to conquer neighboring territories, establish trade networks, and build an empire. One of the most significant events of the New Kingdom was the reign of Akhenaten, who attempted to establish a new monotheistic religion centered around the worship of the sun god, Aten. While his religious reforms were ultimately unsuccessful, they represented a major departure from traditional Egyptian beliefs and had a profound impact on Egyptian culture. The New Kingdom came to an end in the late 11th century BCE due to a combination of factors including economic instability, internal unrest, and invasions by foreign powers. However, its legacy continued to influence Egyptian culture and society for centuries to come, and many of its achievements continue to fascinate and inspire people around the world.